Guardians of Galaxy Volume 2, the sequel.
You can tell it's a different review because we're in the daylight.
That definitely helps. Not in the dark, cram. It's still incredibly messy car, which I really do need to clean. But I've been in that kind of mood today. I was like, I'm getting really tired of this clutter. But anywho, so you and I have covered a majority of the Marvel movies up to this point. So I figured, like, I should try to get you in on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I understand if this doesn't get as many views because you've already covered it.
Surprisingly, the other reviews aren't doing that great right now, so I got just boosted on that one. But either way, I figured this one I could talk a bit more nerdy on that than the last one. So
yes,
you came prepared.
I did. So I saw it on the Thursday it opened. I caught a double feature of the first one and this one. And I saw it with a friendly acquaintance of mine who is also a fan of nerdy stuff. He had actually never seen the first one on the big screen.
Oh.
And it was funny as it was starting. He said, "Oh, I totally forgot this movie starts off on such a downer," and I couldn't help but giggle. And
wait till you see the sequel.
Seriously. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
And since it was a special double feature event, they gave out swag.
Woo.
And
is this like a cup? What am I looking at here?
You could use it as a cup or use it as a popcorn holder.
Oh, it's a popcorn holder.
And
that's genius.
Isn't it though?
Okay.
And when we got out of the double feature, my friend made this joke that I'm totally going to rip off right now. He talked about filling this with beer and going, "I am drunk."
But I'm Alright. So like I said, I've already said my piece about this movie by and large. I'm going to try not to repeat myself in this one. I'll let you start. What do you think?
I think that it was immensely entertaining and funny and emotionally compelling. Did a good job of moving the story forward. I think I like the first one just a smidge more.
I'm really torn.
Because I think the first one stands on its own a little bit more.
I think this one stands on its own fine. In fact, I would say this one probably stands more on its own than any of the other Marvel movies.
Definitely more than any of the sequels.
Well, because like this is the only one that doesn't try to build up anything else that's going on the MCU up to this point, really, when you think about it.
That's true.
There's no Infinity Stones, there's no... I mean, I guess there's mentions of Thanos, but he's not in it. Yeah, this is really just a standalone adventure, which I'm totally down for.
Me too. So I very much enjoyed it. I'm glad that I did the double feature. It made it more of an experience. I've never picked up a comic in my life. The closest that I've ever come is the graphic novel Persepolis, which is a totally different thing. Good book though. But I know there were
yeah, there's quite a few references.
Many references that I just kept thinking, I want to ask Michael about this. So
go ahead.
So
you have the floor.
I'm basically here to pick your brain.
Go for it. Go for it.
So
granted, there were a few references here that went over my head. I had to look them up.
Really?
Yeah. Then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, so go ahead.
Not including the credits themselves, I think we got
5
credit scenes.
There are 5.
Damn, I lost count. Wow.
Yeah, most of them are jokes.
Yes.
Only one is relevant to the sequel. I'd take 2 are relevant to the sequel.
Okay, so what's the significance of Adam?
Adam is referring to a character named Adam Warlock. He's kind of a big cosmic deal. He actually has one of the Infinity Stones in his head, but he's not going to be in the new Avengers movie, so I'm guessing they're not going to have that. Probably replaced by Vision, if I had to guess, because he actually does have one of the Infinity Stones in his head. But he's a pretty big deal. He actually wields the Infinity Gauntlet for a while until he goes crazy and he ends up splitting himself in half with a good evil part, and it leads this whole kerfuffle with alternate realities and all that stuff. You know, cosmic shit.
Okay.
He also butts head with Thanos a lot.
So
he's a big deal. Yeah.
The way that they alluded to him in this, do you think he's going to be a friend or foe of the Guardians?
I mean, like, he's been on the Guardians team before. Like, in the more recent iteration, in this iteration, he was actually one of the founding members. Because there are two versions of Guardians. The original ones are actually in this movie.
That's something else that I suspected that I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, like the one that's led by Sylvester Stallone. Those are the original Guardians.
Okay.
The original Guardians, now I haven't read the series, but I know a bit about it. Actually takes place in like the year 3000 or something like that. It takes place in the far future. That had like Starhawk, which Sylvester Stallone plays, and Yondu. I don't know the other one's names. Those are the only two I know off the top of my head.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they both look very different than they do here.
Sure.
For one, Yondu doesn't look like a space redneck in the comic books. He does have the mohawk, though. The mohawk's actually a lot bigger in the comics, so they found like the middle ground here with a bigger one in this movie.
I saw a picture on YouTube.
Yeah, so that's what that's referencing. But the years later, the more recent iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy were born from a series after a series called Annihilation, which is a really good series, and it'd be awesome if they adapted it one day. It's not gonna happen because it's like ridiculously huge and complex, but like it'd be awesome if it did, because it ends with a character called Nova ripping out, like really to reach inside the bad guy's throat and just ripping out his entire intestines.
Damn.
You ever see Kong Skull Island?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to give away that movie, but it's very similar to what something happens in that film, too.
Okay.
So it's pretty awesome. That being said, there is one character, I've mentioned this many times, it still bothered me to this day. There's one character in the original Guardians books I want so badly in these goddamn movies. I'm so mad that they haven't done it yet.
Cosmo?
Cosmo! I want Cosmo!
After what you told me about him in our last review of the first Guardians movie a few years ago, I was kind of expecting him to have dialogue in this.
I want Cosmo so badly! He's been referenced twice in these movies!
And he growled at Rocket in the first one.
He's in the first one. They give him a cameo in the credit sequence in this one, in the sequel, and I'm like, God damn it, just hire someone Russian and get him in the voice booth. Why is this so hard? God damn it! If you could do it for hell, just hire the guy from Deadpool, play Colossus. He'd be perfect.
Yes, actually.
Because Cosmo is like, you know what I'm talking. You know who Cosmo is, right? I've told you about him a bit before.
A bit. Russian
cosmonaut dog.
From Sputnik?
Yes, from Sputnik. He's like when the original animal is shot into space, it goes like a radioactive cloud or something comic booky. And just it took us this like telepathic Russian badass with his incredibly thick accent.
So, how does he survive all that time?
He ends up on Nowhere, which is seen in the first movie.
Yes.
That's like through some kind of wormhole thing. That's where he ends up. He kind of runs the place. He really does, though. He actually is like the head security dog of Nowhere.
And yet, in the first film, he ends up on display as a part of the collector's
Well, maybe he
collection.
takes over after. We haven't seen Nowhere since the first movie.
This is true.
Maybe he's just running shit now. And just, I want him so bad. It makes me so mad they haven't done that yet. We got Mantis, we can't get Cosmo. Come on.
Okay. So, what can you tell me about Mantis? Because she seemed like an interesting character, but again, I'm sure there's more significance to her that I don't know.
Admittedly, Mantis is one I don't know much about. I've read a couple Guardians books, and I've seen her a few times in those. They didn't give her a lot of character in the books I saw her in, so this is probably the most person that I've seen out of that character is in this movie. I love what they did with her in the movie. I thought she was great.
She and Drax played very well off each other. Yeah,
and I just thought her scenes were great. That's a character I don't know a lot about, so I can't really tell you much about that one.
Fair enough.
I'm just still thinking, like, I want my fucking Russian dog so much.
And it seems like a missed opportunity.
Maybe in the third one. I know James Gunn is directing the third one. So if we do not get him in that one, I'm just gonna fucking riot. I'll be the only one holding my sign going, where the fuck is Cosmo? And everyone's like, the magazine? No!
Maybe start writing your letters to James Gunn now.
Yeah, dear Mr. Gunn, I am very upset that you haven't released Cosmo into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You put Howard the Duck in twice, but you can't get me fucking Cosmo. But
with dialogue.
With with dialogue. God damn it. I think it's one of the first memories, like, I knew I loved this character in the comics, is he appeared in a comic book series called Nova. That's when I see the first one he appeared in. By this point, nowhere was taken over by some kind of weird virus thing. It's a long story. Comics. And there's just a part where, he references The Exorcist or something like that, and Cosmo just goes like, "The Exorcist is a very scary movie." Cosmo had to hide behind couch.
Aww.
So it's like, God damn, I love Cosmo.
That is so cute.
And he has his beef with Rocket. They always butt heads. It's great.
What do they have a beef with each other?
Just because one's a raccoon, the other one's a dog. They just just naturally don't like each other. They always just talk shit and growl at each other. See, wouldn't that be fucking great? It'd fit right at home with the rest of this shit.
Yes.
But I guess
definitely.
I mean, granted, I got a giant planet with a face, so maybe I can't be too critical.
I was kind of hoping that Nebula would stay with them.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be in Infinity War, though. She plays a big role in the original comics and that, so she'll probably be there. Again, if not, there's always the third one.
So, after seeing the movie, well, let me backtrack a little. Before I saw this, I intentionally avoided reviews and trailers because I wanted to be surprised. And after I saw it, I watched other YouTubers' reviews and background videos about different Guardians trivia, and one of the things that I saw was the origins of Star-Lord's father, who is not Ego.
No, that's different in the comics. I don't know who it is in the comics, but I know it's not Ego.
So, and something else I saw was a speculation video of how the Avengers and the Guardians could beat Thanos. And one of the theories was Peter Quill using his godlike powers, for lack of a better phrasing, which in the film version he's now relinquished. Yeah, so that kind of throws that theory out the window.
I mean, granted, I would love more Kurt Russell, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it was kind of a one and done, but
he was great.
Yeah, his villain had more depth than Ronan did.
Absolutely, goddamn, yeah. I mean, Ronan was kind of fun in his own right, and just how over-the-top goofy he was. But no, as far as, villains go, Kurt Russell's definitely one of the better ones that Marvel's done so far, outside of the Netflix series.
Yes.
Because nothing's gonna top Kingpin and Purple Man for me. Nothing's gonna top that.
Not even Loki?
Loki's great, but the Purple Man and Jessica Jones actively made my skin crawl. So
mine too.
So that was any character that can do that is like every time I look at this world, it's oh, that's the bad guy. I like a Purple Man, that guy's fucking evil. He needs to fucking die.
And played by the 10th Doctor. So
yeah, and I heard that messes up people's brains because he uses the same voice.
A little. I mean, granted, the 10th Doctor isn't my favorite, which I know is weird for many fans, but even still, it's props to David Tennant for showing such a range of characters.
I mean, David Tennant's a great actor.
Yes.
Even his brief stint in Harry Potter, he was pretty good. Where he was in 2 scenes, I think.
Yes.
But anywho, you got any more Guardian questions?
Oh, that those were the majority. I'm still a little confused about what exactly Ego wanted. He just wanted to destroy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything?
Like they kind of conveniently skip over that part. I guess really, when you break it down, Ego's plot in the movie is really the same as Ultron's. Just Kurt Russell's more interesting.
Yes.
Because one, it's Kurt Russell, and just nobody can handle the charm of Kurt Russell more than Kurt Russell. Nobody says "son of a bitch" like Kurt Russell does.
That's true.
Like between this and The Hateful Eight, it's like every time he says it, I smile. My soul smiles a little bit. Because everyone goes, "Oh man, son of a bitch." Kurt Russell, son of a bitch! Just really emphasize that B so wonderfully. As they bond over various old school 80s rock, which is awesome.
And,
or 70s. Yeah.
Mostly 70s, yes.
Yeah. But I think one thing I forgot to mention in the original review that I loved is this is the most satisfying use of the song "The Chain" I've ever heard in a movie.
Yes. Yes. That I agree, and that's one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac songs. And as it was playing in this movie, one thing that instantly popped into my head was, this would have worked in the climactic scene of the first movie too.
It really would have. I'm glad they saved it, because the scene they use it in is so perfect for that song, and the way they use it is so effortless.
Yes.
And granted, the climax goes on a little longer than it should. I noticed that more the second time I watched it more than the first time I watched it. But overall, just again, it is a surprisingly satisfying moment, and I mentioned this before in the last review, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I did like how this movie gave the actors a lot more to chew on than the first one did.
More emotional depth.
More emotional depth, more character development. Well, the first movie was really just kind of them just bouncing from place to place.
A fun intro.
And this, and just in a big sci-fi adventure. This one gives them more to do. At least... it gives more character to work off of. Well, Chris Pratt in the first movie is mostly I'm Chris Pratt and I'm charming, which is great. But there wasn't a whole lot as much depth there as there is here, which I really appreciate.
And I actually gasped in my theater when Kurt Russell squashed the mixtape.
Oh, the Walkman.
Yes.
You should have killed my mom and smashed my Walkman.
Yes.
I love that that's the tipping point.
Well, it's everything to him. It makes sense.
Well, I also love this is a zoo and has 300 songs. 300?
I
know. Dude, that's a lot. And we're all that's cute.
Well,
we got Spotify now. We get everything for free online.
It's a lot
not for free, but
for him compared to
well, yeah, I know that
cassettes, which held about 30 songs,
give or take. Yes. No, I get it, but still, that was a funny line.
It was, yes.
No, and again, I did now Chris Pratt had a lot more to do in this movie, I felt, and he really makes it work. Chris Pratt's a good actor. And I like that he's starting to show a little bit more range than he has lately, because everyone feels like we're hiring Chris Pratt because he's Chris Pratt and he's charming. Mm-hmm. Which, again, not a bad thing.
No.
But at the same time, it's okay, he can do more than just be the charming leading man, which I appreciate.
Me too. And I also appreciate that the chemistry between his character and Zoe
Saldana.
Yes, that their chemistry is slow building.
Yeah, one thing I like about it, I mentioned this in the other review too, is I liked how they have this kind of confidant relationship too.
Yes.
Not just in hey, we're being casually flirtatious and yada yada yada. When he wants to talk about something, he will be open and honest with her about it. He won't just try to always be flirty and charming. When the dad shows up, he goes I don't trust him, I don't like him, and he's very blunt about it. And I like that kind of relationship they have in that regard.
Me too.
And that carries all the way through the film.
Yes, and it's very honest and very believable.
Mm-hmm. No, you get that they have this relationship. You get that they've this is clearly not the first time they've gone out of their way to discuss these kind of things. So I like that about that. I think I did like his response to Kurt Russell towards the very end. You know what scene I'm talking about? No, not the Pac-Man part.
Okay.
We've already gone into spoilers. It's like, if you haven't seen the movie by now, it's your own fucking fault.
It's easily the best thing in theaters right now.
Yeah, for sure. I know Colossus is pretty good. Or Colossal is pretty good.
Yeah, I saw your review of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one where I basically went on a social justice tirade.
Yes.
I don't know, I'm kind of proud of that one, I'm not gonna lie.
No, it was nice seeing you be you, but not just angry.
Fair enough. But
it was very genuine.
thank you. But anywho, no, it's the part where like he reveals himself as the bad guy, and he does that whole weird eternity hypnosis thing with him, which I was wondering if that was secretly a reference to another Marvel character.
What were you thinking?
When he says "I see it, eternity." Eternity is like kind of like in the Marvel universe. There's these cosmic entities, kind of like Galactus is one of them. You know who Galactus is, right? Giant purple man, eats planets.
Oh,
He was in the crappy Fantastic Four sequel.
Yes. I think he may have been in the Silver Surfer cartoon.
He wasn't, yeah, because Silver Surfer comes from Galactus, so it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
He's one of them. Basically, like, there's, like, chaos, there's eternity, there's, like, all these different, like, cosmic entities.
And I heard something that the Collector is one of them?
I don't know about the Collector. Like, these are, like, big, larger-than-life characters, so they're not necessarily human characters. They don't even have bodies. They're just, like, entities that exist throughout the universe. There's a very, very brief cameo one in Doctor Strange, actually. I think it's called, The Living Tribunal. That's what it's called. Pops up very, very briefly in the Doctor Strange movie. Just one of those, like, they're the most powerful beings in the universe kind of thing. Eternity is one of them. So I was wondering, like, I see an Eternity. Was that a reference to that character or not? I don't really know. They do play a big part in Infinity, like the Infinity Gauntlet storyline too. So I'm wondering maybe that's kind of teasing that a bit.
It could be. Depending on how deep cuts they're going.
I mean, if you actually read the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, it's insane. Like, it's an insane story. So I'm kind of worried, like, very curious to see how they're going to pull it off. Because that one literally starts with Thanos just deciding to wipe out literally half the universe's population, literally with a snap of his finger. So,
Yikes.
So, like, your snap's finger, half the population, gone. Just, that's it. That's how the story starts.
Okay, then. Wow.
So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm wondering if they're gonna do that OP or not, because like I don't know how there's even gonna stand a remote chance. Like the only thing that even beats him is because of vanity, basically. Nebula actually plays a big part in how he ends up getting beaten in the end.
Never underestimate family manipulations.
Yeah, okay. And Satan's in it too. Which is, not kidding.
I believe you. It just sounds ridiculous.
He plays like Thanos' advisor.
Okay.
Again, I'm not making this up. They call him Mephisto in the comics, but he's Satan.
And then something else I've heard is that Thanos has a flirtation with Lady Death or something.
Yeah, that's a big part of the comics. In this universe, Death has like a body. It just kind of changes from time to time. Sometimes it's a very sexy female. Sometimes it's actually just like a skull in a robe, the classic design. It kind of changes depending on what she wants to be.
And he's jealous of Deadpool's relationship with her.
Yeah, that's come up once or twice.
Now, I don't know if Deadpool is considered a Fox property or a Marvel.
It's Fox. That's not going to happen. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to tell you right now, unless another miraculous deal comes into play, it's not going to happen.
Damn it. That would be amazing.
It would be, but it's not going to happen. Not right now, anyway. I don't see it being the case. Technically, it's still part of the X-Men franchise right now. And, Fox just have a tight grip on that.
Yes.
Because that's really all they got going for, because Fantastic Four has not worked out the way they hoped.
Oh, because studio interference and crap.
Well, I don't think John Trask's film would have been good regardless. I don't think John Trask's film would have been good regardless, but studio interference didn't help. Where was I going with this, though? Shit, I lost train of thought. What we're talking. Oh yeah, Lady Death.
Yes.
They do reference her in the first Avengers movie.
Oh.
Where the very end, when they do the Thanos reveal, what they say like to fight to take on Earth is to court death. That's what that's referring to.
Ah.
Yeah. So that kind of gives into. That's why Thanos kind of looks and smiles at the camera before they cut to black. So that's kind of a reference to all that. No, in the comic books, Thanos has a very big obsession with death. That's why he even goes to the Infinity Gauntlet in the first place, was to impress her, basically.
All that time and effort just to get laid?
By death, yeah.
Okay. Priorities, I guess?
Hey, men have done a lot of weird things for the sake of boning.
This is true.
Wipe out half of a universe population, just par for the course. I did karaoke once. We all do things we regret.
What did you sing?
I'm kidding. I don't actually do that.
Oh.
I don't know. I did get hit on by a cougar once. I was in a karaoke bar, though. Walked up to me and was like, "By the way, I love sticks." And then turns around, walks away. I was like, "Okay, this is weird. I'm gonna just sit here and drink my beer."
She was hinting that she wanted you to sing a stick song.
One thing she could have been hinting at.
Well, in that context, that's probably what it
or,
was.
I'm not convinced, though, because the look in her eyes said she was looking for something else, too.
Okay.
Because she really emphasized sticks pretty hardcore. That's a whole other story, though. But no, back to this movie, though. Not Sticks. Sticks does not appear in this movie. Although there are talks about Sticks.
They could have. They're the
Yes, Drax, I have a penis.
they're the right era of music.
No, yeah, they would fit at home later, but anywho, no, going from a comic book standpoint, there is a lot of little nods here and there to various parts in the comics. The Watchers are in this movie.
So I don't know about this either.
This is something I've meant. This is a fan theory that's been going on for a while, that Stan Lee is really the Watcher, who is a character in the comics who doesn't actively interfere with anything going on in the Marvel U, but they will observe everything, and they've interfered on very few occasions, but the alien species that the Watcher does make appearance in this movie. They're the one Stan Lee is talking to.
Okay.
The one that the actual Watcher looks exactly like that, so it's kind of heavily implying that Stan Lee is the Watcher from the comics or is heavily affiliated with them. So either way, that's where that's going.
Which is why they didn't offer him a ride home?
I guess not. I don't know. But anyway, so it's kind of did they confirm it? Did they not? And which is pretty close. Either way, did they use an opportunity to reference Civil War in there too? I was a FedEx driver,
Yes.
Yeah, so they reference his cameo in Civil War in that one. Yeah, so I feel like I've talked pretty nerdy for a while.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to.
Yeah, I feel like
do.
me and Grant had the more serious, which one's better, the first one or the second one talk? It's this one I'm just going to talk nerdy.
Well, like I said, when I was watching it, I kept on thinking, I'll have to ask Michael about that.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum is in the credit sequence, too, as his character from Thor 3, which I'm excited about. Did you get that trailer?
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen the Thor 3 trailer.
I'm so excited.
Again, knowing nothing about the comics, from what I've heard, it's not the Ragnarok storyline.
No, this one's adapting more of the Planet Hulk storyline. Going so far as, they're kind of mixing Thor storylines with Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk was a storyline that happened quite a few years ago now, where the Avengers, not the Avengers, an offset of the Avengers they called the Illuminati, which had Charles Xavier, Black Bolt, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, basically all the big heads of the Marvel U decide to send Hulk into space for his own safety, allegedly. But things go wrong. He ends up on a warlike planet called Sakaar, and that's where it basically becomes Gladiator after that.
That's what it looks like. And I saw in the trailer that Thor's hammer gets squashed to smithereens?
It's happened a few times in the comics.
Does he get his hammer back?
I
Can
don't
it be
know.
put back together? What's Thor without his hammer?
He's still badass, apparently.
Okay.
A little depowered, but
I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah, I guess we'll find out. Or is that later this year?
I think so.
Sweet.
I think it's coming out in, I want to say November.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So about 6 months.
I'm down for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yes.
But no, like Planet Hulk.
Maybe that's what I'll do for my birthday this year.
Yeah, Planet Hulk was basically he becomes a gladiator for a while, then including the same outfit that's in the trailer, with like the mohawk helmet and the shoulder pads and all that stuff. Oh, that's an exact like copy from the comics,
Including the haircut.
including the haircut. I'm not Thor, Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Like the way Hulk looks in the trailer is exactly the way he looks in the comics.
Well, that's nice accuracy.
Yeah, I know, right? Now Thor's gone through several looks in the comics, so like I'm sure he's done. I think he has short hair right now in the comics. Actually,
Okay.
he actually does not have his hammer right now in the comics. It's a very long, convoluted story. Jane Foster has the hammer. Actually, she's the new Thor. But
And she's worthy to wield it?
apparently, yes,
Okay.
yeah. But I digress. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Thor 3 Planet Hulk. So yeah, that one involves, there's all kinds of space adventures, there's zombies at one point, but it does lead to what's called, the sequel storyline was called World War Hulk, where he comes back to Earth and he's pissed.
Oh, no.
And he literally kicks everyone's ass. Just not even like a trouble, just stomps every single character in the Marvel Universe, who all go through great lengths to try to overpower themselves to defeat him. He still kicks their ass. Like that has Doctor Strange like molding with the demon. Do you know who Black Bolt is?
I've heard the name, but I don't know who he is.
Black Bolt is a leader of the Inhumans. But his power is like ultrasonic voice, but like even a whisper can like level a city. So,
Damn.
So he's like one of the most powerful characters in the universe. He tries yelling at Hulk, doesn't even stop him. So like he was like, Hulk just destroyed literally everyone in the Marvel Universe, takes down Juggernaut, everyone's just dead. Well, not dead, but defeated.
Do you know if Black Bolt will be joining the MCU in Phase 4?
They have the TV show that's in
Okay.
production right now. I think the pilot episode is actually going to be in theaters, but they just released some set photos of them in costume recently, so you can look that up. It does have the guy from Game of Thrones, the really creepy one.
Which one? There are multiple creepy characters.
The most recent one that, spoiler, died in the last season.
Oh, Ramsey?
Yeah, Ramsey, he's in it. Yeah. He plays like the evil brother. It's kind of like a Thor Loki kind of thing. They're very, very similar actually now I think about it. But and there's a character called Medusa. She has like hair thing power, kind of like tentacle hair basically.
Snake hair?
Kind of, yeah, snake hair. So that'll be interesting when that comes out. But yeah, so I'm excited for Thor 3. But
Once I saw the trailer, my first thought was, I'm in.
yeah, seriously,
I'm there.
I'm down to see Hela. I mean, Kate Blanchett, is that her who plays it?
I don't know. I didn't recognize her, so.
I've seen her in a few things, but no, she looks fucking great. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, is there anything else about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 you want to talk about?
Not that I can think about. It's fun. It's colorful. It's very nerdy.
Yes, very much so.
and-
As I've gone on lawn rants.
And it's a very small thing, but if you watch all of the regular credits, I Am Groot will
Yeah, I noticed
pop
that
up.
too.
That was cool.
Yeah. It's just one Cosmo. I mean, granted, I got Ego, which is more than I could have asked for, but still.
Yeah, and an evil talking planet.
Yeah, an evil talking planet. I was like, okay, bravo. That's still pretty good. You know, he actually has a moon that orbits around him that's called Id. I'm not making this up. This is in the comics.
Okay, so where's Super Ego then?
Probably in the center.
Oh, that was the
The brain, probably.
brain that Baby Groot blew up.
Yeah, that... honestly, if they call that Super Ego, I'd be like, yes!
The trifecta.
The trifecta, yes! Awesome!
Nice.
Statue Freud in the courtyard. But one thing I do want to talk about very, very briefly, though, is I did like, again, going back to Kurt Russell a bit, though, like, I did like how, no matter what he was doing, I never felt like his interactions were not genuine in some way.
They were genuine to him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's still being a bastard, but even towards the very end, when he knows he's about to die, he still has, like, that look of just pure desperation on his face, rather than, like, what a lot of other villains would do, like, kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, you may strike me down, but I return stronger than ever, kind of thing. This one looks like a genuine, not even that he's gonna die, just genuine, like, oh, fuck, everything I've worked so hard for, millions of years, is gone.
That type of thing.
Yeah, well, again, it just comes back to Kurt Russell just has a great performance in the movie. He just looks disheveled and desperate.
Yes. That character, though, I mean, Kurt Russell is very likable as a person, as an actor, as a performer, but when he's trying to using Peter as a living battery,
like, I mean, I do love, even then, like, I still feel like he's just, I feel like he genuinely still wants to have a connection with Peter in some way. He just like, you know what, we'll work this out later. For now, we do what we gotta do. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention I wanted to talk about real quick, because I did love Peter's reaction to when Kurt Russell makes the reveal that he killed his mom.
Yes, how that wakes him up out of the hypnosis. Or
yeah, well, like, I like
whatever.
that he didn't even hesitate for a second. Just like, now I know, pew, 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 pew.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm down for this.
Yes.
No hesitation, no, like, angry comment, just, you what? Now I know, bang, 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 bang.
I mean, to watch a parent go through cancer is terrible, which we obviously saw in the intro of the first Guardians, but to find out that your long-lost father was the one who gave it to her...
God damn you, Kurt Russell!
If I were Peter, I'd react the same way.
Yeah, just...
like, fuck you, Dad!
Fuck it. Or my favorite line in the movie, where it's like, you guys got issues. Of course I got issues! That's my frickin' father!
Yes!
But, yeah, you got anything else?
That about sums it up. I had a wonderful time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what they say they got next.
Yes.
Let's see, what even came out this week?
Snatched.
Oh, God. Oh, and the King Arthur movie, I gotta see that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Looks kind of insane.
I've heard that the middle, that Act 2 has pacing issues.
I mean, like, I'm not expecting it to be good. I'm expecting it to be insane. That's kind of what I want out of it. It's looks like one of those movies, like, you know, this might be dumb as hell, but I might have a good time at it.
Gotcha.
Like, I just rewatched Victor Frankenstein recently, and goddamn, I still love that movie. No ego, two hearts. Have you seen that movie yet?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That one's criminally underrated. Like, you people don't have fucking fun. Have I told you about that one?
I don't think so. If you have, it's been a while.
Okay. Now, one scene just has them drunkenly designing Frankenstein, and at one point they just go, give him a flat head. Why? Because I like it. It's that kind of movie. And James McAvoy acts the shit out of it.
My favorite Frankenstein movie is Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen Young Frankenstein. I keep meaning to. I know.
It's a Mel Brooks classic.
I know. I didn't like... See, my first Mel Gibson movie was Spaceballs, and I didn't really like that movie.
No, Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks. Sorry, not Mel Gibson. Very different movies.
Yes.
And Mel Brooks movies like Spaceballs, and I always thought Spaceballs was overrated.
Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles are my favorite films of his.
Fair enough. And as well, since I'll watch them eventually, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So yeah, I guess see King Arthur and Snatch next week, and I'll probably end up watching the sequel to Equestria Girls tonight. Just to get that one done.
I watched your review last night.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't gotten shit for you, because I know that one has its fan base.
I have some friends who have a 4-year-old girl who watches that and the new MLP. I've never gotten into this generation's MLP. I was a fan of the MLP that was out when I was a kid in the 80s.
It's like I can get the appeal. It's not for me.
It was marketed to sell toys to little girls in the 80s.
It's like at least this new one's like at least trying to do something different, which I respect.
Yes.
We're getting way off topic now, and I'm going to stop down for you. This becomes an hour-long review. All right, so thank you guys for watching. See you next week.
Bye.